For the final time this regular season, unfortunately, Edmonton and Vancouver go toe-to-toe. Will it get feisty? Soon we'll know. We get set for the Oilers and the Canucks on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. If you're making your way home tonight from work, drive safely. I saw Josh Clausen put that we got another squall today. It was super windy and has been for the last couple of days. Hopefully things on the road aren't too bad. Those that are watching on YouTube, good evening as well. Shout out to CJ in LA, who accidentally changed her handle and is now in a 14-day hold period before it can get changed back. Way to go, CJ. And shout out to all the nasties watching already on YouTube. And then, of course, to those listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and EvansandSportsTalk.com's audio player, as well as Apple Music. Hope you're doing well. Tom Gazzola, Hernandez Salas with you. Matt Cassian will be stopping by shortly, and we'll also hear from Irfaan Gaffar. He's got the Down to Earth show on Canucks Army, and he also does a post-game show with Jeff Patterson, who you saw and heard from on the Nielsen show earlier in the day. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Text us 780-218-9999. Get into that nasty chat. If you're watching on YouTube, let's bring in the Latino heat, keeping things warm tonight. What's up, Nanso? You doing all right?
Yeah, it's been pretty good 3 hours between shows. I did a lot of prep for tomorrow, a lot of catching up on other stuff, and looking forward to this game where the Oilers seek revenge. I'm still trying to figure out what that is, but
right.
I mean, no, I know what it is. For the loss last Saturday, Tom. And
right.
And if you're angry, sure, I get it. But the best way to get back at the Vancouver Canucks, again, for beating them on Saturday, is to win the damn game, Tom. So,
win the damn game.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'll be honest, I don't expect fireworks like many are anticipating. I'm sorry to be a bit of a downer. I just don't. I mean, I don't think Garland needs to fight anyone. Who's going to fight him in the first place? Myers is not in the game. McDavid's not in the game. Those are the two guys that, if anyone needed to answer the bell, it's those two. So, but they're out. But I'm excited, Tom. It's always fun when these two teams meet. I know Vancouver's coming off a tough loss to the basement dwellers in the Buffalo Sabres, but this team always shows up against the Oilers.
Yeah, they have been very good against Edmonton in recent years. Obviously picking up that win on Saturday night. Both teams losing Tuesday, Edmonton to Washington. Of course, the Canucks, like Hernan mentioned, to Buffalo, 3-2 finals in both of those games. You know, just being down at the rink today, Hernan, I didn't get the sense that both teams were that mad at each other. And when you think about it, you nailed it on the head. Like, Myers got suspended, McDavid got suspended. Neither one of them are going to be playing in this game. There really isn't anyone that has a lot of reason to fight. And Connor Garland, you know, he made a really calculated decision to sit on Connor McDavid and to tie him up. But that isn't like worthy of a fight, I don't think, or he doesn't need to answer to anything. Do I think that he might get hit a couple of times? Do I think that he'll be someone the Oilers would like to focus in on a little bit more physically or chirp him? Yeah, sure. But he ultimately won in that situation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you're an Oiler fan.
100%. And I'm glad you said that, because sometimes I feel like, you know, us in the media, I'll include us. Like, I have no issues doing that.
Yeah.
And the fans, I think we make it a bigger deal and a bigger story. And I think the players are kind of like, who cares, guys? Like, let's just play. Now, are they going to, if Garland's up for a clean body check, are the Oilers going to pass up on it? Probably not. It's going to get a roar from the crowd and all that, but you should be doing that anyway, right, Tommy? So, I don't think the Oilers were being childish when the Canucks rolled into the arena for the morning skate or anything like that, Tom.
They shouldn't be. I mean, you want to beat them. You want to get back at them for what happened in that loss on Saturday. You didn't have a good first period. 3 minutes and 22 seconds span where the Canucks managed to score 3 goals and really take the game. And Edmonton clawed its way back into that game and gave itself a shot with, a minute left. And unfortunately, it played out the way it did. A couple guys get suspended, but it adds some juice to it. And I asked Evan Bouchard and Podkolzin about the added motivation tonight. And Bouchard didn't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know. He's like, I don't know. We'll see. And I'm like, really? Like, come on, man. Hey, we want to beat our Pacific Division rival. They got us on Saturday. Yeah. We just need to play good, play a smart game. Doesn't need to get stupid. Good quote. Done. No, he's like, I don't know. We'll see. And I'm like, fine. That's the way it's going to be. Podkolzin, on the other hand, goes, oh, we need to worry about the game. We need to worry about the 2 points. But if something happens, then we'll answer. Then we'll answer. Connor Garland's glove, a.k.a. Matt Cassian, is just getting set up. We'll have him in a couple of minutes here. And, there's Mandy. Hello, Mandy. Helping him out at his satellite studios. Okay, you can text us 780-218-9999. Hernan, before I throw out the lineups for this one, do you want to throw the question of the night out to our listeners and viewers?
Yes, I do. And when we were talking about it with Gager, and we came to the conclusion that this team's going to be a top-heavy team, something we have to live with. That's regardless if Connor's not in the lineup. Look at the ice times last game, Tom. They rode the big three, which is Nuge, Hyman, and Draisaitl. So in saying that, for the Edmonton Oilers, who are on a 2-game losing streak, this hasn't happened since the first 2 games after the Christmas break, Tom, if you recall. I know one's an OT loss. They still got a point, but you guys get what I'm saying. Who tonight has to... how can I put this? Who tonight has to pick up their game to help Draisaitl, to help the Oilers get a win? Because it can be Nuge, it can be Bouchard, it can be Hyman, it can be Janmark, because Chris Knobloch spoke glowing of him today. Evan Bouchard, does he get his first power play goal? Is it Calvin Pickard in net? Who needs to step up their game tonight to lend a hand to Mr. Leon Draisaitl to pick up the 2 points?
Let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Tonight, Hernan, I'd like to see Adam Henrique get into the mix a little bit. I'd like to see Corey Perry get into it. And I'm leading into the starting lineups here, but I think an opportunity presents itself, and maybe some depth scoring could go a long way. It usually does. And then how about Evan Bouchard coming up with a big game? He's not going to hurt the Vancouver Canucks physically, obviously. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can come to that conclusion. He can hurt them on the scoreboard by scoring a big goal.
I think Gager said Adam Henrique too. I'm going to say Nuge, man. And listen, he's not having the season that he probably wants. I think this might be his lowest scoring. I think they were saying offensively, or one of his worst offensive seasons. And that's a lot of seasons, and he's been nothing but a great player for the Oilers. But this year, for the amount he plays in every situation, I think you just need a little bit more. So if tonight Nuge can chip in just with solid play, I'll even take a couple of apples, Tommy. It doesn't have to be goals, but if he can contribute in any way tonight to help Leon Draisaitl, I think Nuge is the one guy that needs to step up tonight.
I like it. What say you? Who needs to step up to help Leon Draisaitl with some secondary scoring? If the Oilers want to snap these, or it's not even a losing streak, but they dropped back-to-back games in regulation for the first time since early November. And like Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne were saying on the Reed Wilkins show earlier, the Oilers have not had a 3-game regulation loss stretch since the first 3 games of the season. All right, Cass is almost ready to go. Let's get into your starting lineups. Brought to you by South Fort Chev. Reserve your 2025 Equinox tracks and Traverse now. They won't last long. They've also got the best discounts on 2025 Silverados, and they won't be beat. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. For the Oilers, bit of a different look tonight. Top line is not different because it will see Draisaitl centering Podkolzin and Arvidsson, so that trio stays intact. Then we get to Henrique between Perry and Hyman. Interesting. Hyman ditching the bubble. He's got the visor now. Yeah. That's good to see. He did shatter his nose. We need to remind folks, it wasn't just broken, it was shattered. Poor guy said it was like listening to a bag of broken chips when he tried to readjust it. But yeah, he had that like cast on it for a little bit, and now it looks like he's back to normal, which is great to see. And hopefully that helps him continue to play strong offensively. Oh, just in general, sure. And then on the third line, we should say, Nugent Hopkins with Janmark and Brown. That combination is interesting. I feel like the first thing I thought of when I wrote down these lines earlier in the day was, I wonder if people or how many will be like, oh, Nugent Hopkins centering the third line where he should be, and how many times we see that tonight. But I'll take a look into the inbox and the nasty chat shortly to see if my premonition comes to be. Finally, Philp between Skinner and Kapanen. On defense for the Oilers tonight, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Stetcher, Kulak with Emerson, McDavid still suspended. John Klingberg continues to get himself up to speed. For the Canucks tonight, Elias Pettersson with Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser, JT Miller with Pius Suter and Connor Garland, Teddy Bluger with Danton Heinen and Kiefer Sherwood. And then you got Max Sasson with Nils Höglander and Phil DiGiuseppe. On defense for the Vancouver Canucks tonight, Quinn Hughes with Luke Friedman, Carson Soucy with Philip Hronik, Derek Forbort with former Oiler Vinny Desharnais. Out for Vancouver, the other Elias Pettersson, and then Linus Karlsson. Now, we did hear Rick Tocchet when he spoke to us earlier today say that we'll see about Linus Karlsson. So if we do have a tweak to the Canucks lineup, we will pass that along your way when the teams do hit the ice for warm-up. That brings us to your starting goalies. For the Edmonton Oilers, 32-year-old Calvin Pickard, had a great chat with him today. He's 11-4-0, 253 goals against average, 897 save percentage in 17 games this season. Pickard's still in search of his first win versus Vancouver. He's 0-2-1 lifetime with a 264 GAA, 917 save percentage, 3 games against Vancouver in his career. I will note that that is only regular season. Yes, he went 1-1 against the Canucks in the postseason last year. Instrumental in helping the Oilers beat Vancouver in 7 games in what was a very fun second-round series. Now, at the other end of the rink, Vancouver rolling with 29-year-old Thatcher Demko, 3-4-3 with the 323 GAA, 873 save percentage in 11 games this year. Demko versus Edmonton, 16 appearances versus the Oilers, 6-8-1 record. 273 GAA, 917 save percentage in those games. We bring you now to the Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy Injury Report. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro, using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. For the Oilers, nothing new here. Alec Regula, IR knee. Evander Kane, LTIR, abdominal surgery, and knee surgery. For Vancouver, Kevin Lankinen day-to-day with an illness. Noah Juleson, IR undisclosed. Dakota Joshua, IR leg. And I feel like if we do see Karlsson go in, it sounds like, in talking to the people around the Canucks, that they are dealing with a bit of a bug, which has Lankinen day to day right now. All right. Question of the night. Text it to us, 780-218-9999. Your thoughts. Who has to step up in assistance with Leon Draisaitl, or to assist Leon Draisaitl? Who has to step up in the lineup? And also get into the nasty chat as well. Let's get to our game analyst, Matt Cassian. He's ready to go. He is nicknamed himself on the production side of things in our live cast, Connor Garland's glove. You're just trolling, brother. You're just trolling. I like it though. Let's rip this Band-Aid right off, because I think, we've talked about it a lot. 2 guys and a goalie, Oil Stream pre and post, Oil Stream afternoons, all of the shows on our station, everywhere around here. Cass, have we blown this thing up to be way bigger than it really is?
Maybe, but no. At the same time, I was around the rink yesterday for a charity function with Soldier On, which is a fantastic group of individuals that run that one for our armed forces and armed forces veterans, as well as the Oilers Community Foundation and the Oilers Alumni Group, which is just awesome. It was an awesome event.
Nicely done.
It was great, but had a chance to chat with some of the Oilers senior staff members, and they were still fired up about it. And so it's kind of like, yeah, maybe we are, but maybe we aren't. I mean, he's still suspended. It's going to be a thing until he's not suspended for McDavid. Like we're gonna talk about it kind of consistently until the suspension's over. Then we'll probably move on. But even more so considering the Oilers lost and their power play didn't look great. And yes, I thought they outplayed the Washington Capitals, but they couldn't put the puck in the net, and one of the best guys in the world at doing so or creating those chances wasn't in the lineup. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everyone outside of the Edmonton market says we're blowing it way out of proportion, and maybe they're right, but I don't think so, Tom. I don't think so.
Cass, I think where all of us, I'm going to include us obviously in this, as well as the fan base, is right with this scenario is the build-up to Oilers versus Canucks.
Yeah.
And that concept and these two teams in general not liking each other, the history from last postseason and Edmonton wanting to beat them and the Canucks fans pissing the Oilers fans off and the Oilers fans pissing the Canucks fans. That part I think is A-okay. Maybe the Garland stuff is where I'm like, are we making that element of it too much, right?
Yeah, well, maybe for some people. I mean, like we were laughing, and I know you were in the nasty chat this afternoon when we were having the Two Guys and a Goalie podcast with Jay Mill today, filling in for Dusty. And Gager said something that I'm still giggling about. It's like, retribution for Connor Garland holding Connor McDavid, right? Like it's kind of like,
right.
I don't think there's retribution for, and for people that maybe are blowing it out like, oh, they're gonna go get him, like they're gonna go get Connor Garland. To me, it wasn't that type of a play. Like I think now the emotion to the game, very, very real. The angst and the dislike as a whole towards the other team, very, very real. I think that's not overblown. I think the amount these teams don't like each other right now, not overblown. I mean, that's why you see the emotion both from Edmonton and Vancouver at the end of the last game. But to say that they're just, it's all about Connor Garland, it's not. Right. Which is why, the trolling with my little name up there, the Connor Garland's glove, where it's like, Connor Garland, he's a greasy little player at times. We probably would absolutely adore him if we were in Edmonton.
I would think so.
But it's not like guys are going to be headhunting Connor Garland. Like now, when we get into game change, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but from an emotional standpoint, I think that's all very real. But, just anyone that's freaking out about they have to go after Garland, I mean, they don't. Yeah. They just don't.
Well said. And I knew you'd be the right guy to ask about that. All right, let's dive into Game Changers now with our game analyst, Matt Cassian. Game Changers is always brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting has been a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He is community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Now with the agency. All right, Cass, point number 1 tonight on Game Changers, emotional control.
Yep, I used this quote earlier today. I'm going to use it again from the classic movie Mystery Men. If you do not learn to control your rage will learn to control you. Wow. This does have all the hallmarks of a game where emotions could get out of control. Now, the officiating, they're probably going to be pretty tight on it. I would assume both teams probably saying similar things in the dressing room where it's like, hey, like control the emotion, contain it, feel it, but don't do something stupid. Like we got to win a hockey game here, which is the right attitude to have. And for the Edmonton Oilers, I think you have to control that emotion. Like you're frustrated that you lost to Vancouver a couple of days ago. You're frustrated that you lost in a game that I thought you played quite well in against the Washington Capitals. You're frustrated McDavid's suspended. Like there's a lot that's like can light a little bit of that emotional fire. Then you're playing a team that's overall not as much of a rival as the Calgary Flames, but they are a Canadian rival. You did beat them in the playoffs last year, and there's resentment there because of it. So I really think it's one of those games where I hope they feel the emotion. I hope they do. I hope they bring that fire, because I think the Edmonton Oilers, they're a better team when they have that. Like when they have that mojo and that screw you to their game and that a little bit of hate in their guts, they are a better team, but it has to still be contained and controlled. And play discipline still, play within the line still, not get off track, not steer yourself into a ditch. But you still want to feel those emotions. So having good control of them, which is allowing yourself to feel a little bit of the fire, allowing yourself to want to be the difference, to want to run the guy through the wall, to want to, be hard to play against. That's great. And let's go with that. But you still got to keep your head on straight while you're doing that. And that, I don't think it's necessarily been a problem, or maybe ever, not ever in the McDavid era, let's say, right. With them. But hey, still got to screw your head on straight here. Contain that emotion. Use it to fuel you, and control it. Controlled rage, and operating with decisiveness and ill decision or positive decision, whatever.
It will fuel you tonight. For sure. Yeah. Emotional control, number 1 on Game Changers. Number 2 with Matt Cassian. Defensive structure, Cass. There have been blips on the radar when it comes to this. There
have been blips on the radar, but there weren't, I know you end up losing to Washington, but I thought as a whole, aside from the little blips, they did a pretty good job defensively, like of containing. And I want to see more of that today. Like I know you have some mistakes. I know the puck ends up in your net, but I thought it was a pretty solid game for the Edmonton Oilers defensively. Yeah. And I think you want to carry that into today, where it's not with any kind of extra rage or emotion or drama that this game is carrying heading into it or generates at the start of the game. Just maintaining that defensive structure. I mean, you got to think if you double the Vancouver Canucks in shots tonight, like you did the Washington Capitals, you're going to give yourself a pretty good chance to win the hockey game, right? From a defensive structure standpoint, being able to collapse, not giving up that much. So want to see more of that. As you said, there still have been some little blips. Now, if you can eliminate those blips and stick with, what was in that Washington game, a solid defensive game, I think they're going to be really good.
All right. It is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Cassian. Game Changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Number 1, emotional control. Number 2, defensive structure. Number 3, that Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, well, wasn't he the difference maker ultimately in that game against Vancouver the other day? And isn't he just the difference maker all the time for this Canucks team? I was debating, and we still could talk about the power play and without Connor McDavid, how much that struggled, because I think that's a big part of it. The Oilers power play maybe finding some success without McDavid, which is that's, I want to say it's asking a lot, but it is asking a lot to replace Connor. But Quinn Hughes, man, I mean, it's just anytime I watch these guys, he is a treat to watch play. Just still silky smooth as butter, and so much offensively just flows through him for the Vancouver Canucks. Like everything does, and then its stats show it for Quinn Hughes. And for the Edmonton Oilers, again, it's not a playoff series. You can't necessarily completely wear a guy down in one game, but really important that you're trying to slow Quinn Hughes down whenever you can tonight, which means just getting little bumps on him. Again, not if you get a chance to run him over, sure, absolutely run him over. Really hard to do, actually, because he is slippery and he is not one just to let you run him over, but slowing him down with those little bumps, making sure you're delaying his ability as you can without taking penalties to get back up ice and to generate is huge, because he's one of the best in the world right now at what he does offensively with the puck. And just like other teams are always going to be talking about Connor McDavid when he's in the lineup, and they're always going to be talking about Leon Draisaitl when he's in the lineup, we got to talk about Quinn Hughes for the Edmonton Oilers. You shut him down, chances are you're winning this hockey game.
Man, Quinn Hughes leading this Canucks team in points, and it's not even close. He's at 51. Garland's at 31. JT Miller, we'll see how long he lasts as a Canuck. He's got 32. Jake DeBrusk, 29. Elias Pettersson, 30. Quinn Hughes, like you said, Cass, you're right, 100%. The offense flows through him with this Canucks team. Okay, I have a bunch of texts that have come in that I really want to hear your take on. It is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Cassian, Tom Guzzola, Hernan Salas, also with you here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Edmonton and Vancouver, third and final time this regular season. These Pacific Division foes, Lockhorns. Chris says, Tom, Cass, if the roles are reversed tonight and someone does that to Pettersson, Does it get called? And Chris is referring to what Garland did to McDavid. What say you, Cass?
Yeah. I think more than other nights, the officials are going to be, they might be quick to whistle tonight. Maybe I'm wrong. But I kind of feel like they're going to head into this one knowing it has the potential to be a really emotional game. I mean, let's not pretend the league doesn't hear the chatter. Let's not pretend the league doesn't know what's going on with the teams, because they do. And they're going to talk with the officials about it. The officials are going to have their pregame meeting like they're always going to do. They're going to discuss different players on different teams. They're going to look at the rosters. They're going to see who's in, who's out. And they're going to know that this has the potential to be an emotional game. So I think the answer would be yes. I think it gets called. Now, if that happens in the last 5 seconds, will it be called? Last 10 seconds, maybe not, because I don't think officials are all going to ref through the whole game. They don't in this league. They generally ref the score and ref the time and a whole bunch of different things, which I don't like, but that's the reality of how they handle it. So my answer to that would be, through the first 59 minutes, they are probably going to call it. In the last minute, they might not.
All right, 780-218-9999. This one from Peter says, based on line rushes, I still don't understand why Henrique isn't with his normal line mates and Nuge isn't with Hyman. Of course, Henrique used to playing with Brown and Janmark. That is not the case tonight, although, as we've seen many times, Chris Knobloch does change it up on the fly mid-game. So Henrique between Perry and Hyman is what we're anticipating, and then Nugent-Hopkins with Janmark and Brown. Cass, what would you say to Peter, who's thrown off by these lines?
Yeah, I get being a little thrown off by it. Now, you might just be looking at characteristics that you think are going to work together from these guys, right? Like with Janmark and Brown, with RNH, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins got quite a bit more foot speed than Henrique, and going Perry, Henrique, and Hyman, not as much, but that's a line to me that's like, get the puck around the net. Like, right. I mean, that's what that line screams to me, is like, you're not gonna beat anyone in foot races with that group, but it is a group of three guys. Not like Hyman's huge, but Henrique, pretty big body, can play around the net. Perry plays around the net. Hyman plays around the net, where it's like a kind of a chaos line. To try to just get pucks there and try to make life difficult in front of the net of the Vancouver Canucks, where the Janmark, RNH, Brown line, you have with Brown and Janmark a little bit more speed for those two guys, which I know sometimes offsets, Henrique's lack of speed. Not that he's slow, but he's not, like he's a barn burner type of guy.
No, that's true.
But with RNH, where you're thinking, okay, for Janmark and Brown, when you're looking at the way it's stylistically that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins plays, maybe you're able to squeeze a little bit more offense out of those guys, and maybe you're able to squeeze a little bit more out of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I think that's the thought. I'm with you. I don't think that necessarily lasts the whole game unless we see the Oilers really hot out of the gate and then put up a couple points early.
Right.
You could see a little bit of a switch there.
Cass, fantastic work as always, my friend. We'll catch up with you on the post-game show.
Sounds good, guys. Talk to you later.
There is Connor Garland's glove, a.k.a. Matt Cassian, our game analyst with Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now with the agency. Text us 780-218-9999. I've got a bunch that I want to get to in a little bit. If you want to ask Irfaan Gaffar a question or two, fire away. And then if you're watching on YouTube, of course, get into the nasty chat, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. To those listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, as well as Apple Music. Thank you. And we hopefully are keeping you warm and occupied and comfortable as you make your way home in the squall. If it is still ongoing outside, that damn squall last week was nasty. Been windy for the last couple of days, and hopefully the roads out there are half decent. Nan, so any thoughts after what Cass had to say on Game Changers before we bring Irf on here?
Yeah, no, I think the big one was the first point, the emotions. Like it's this whole story of the suspensions has taken on a life of its own.
Oh yeah,
play the damn game, get the 2 points. Enough with this. So I think that's the big one for me is. Keep your emotions in check. Don't go out of your way to create a ruckus on Garland. It's just concentrate on the game. Like, honestly, Tom, I'm kind of tired of it. I want this game to start and then we can just move on, please.
It's not that easy. You know how it is around here.
Oh,
but,
I know, but
that's wishful
man.
thinking too. I like it though. All right, let's get Irf Gaffar on here. He's our good buddy. You could catch him on Rink Wide with Jeff Patterson, the Canucks post-game show on Canucks Army, as well with Down to Earth. He's a down-to-earth guy, and he's down to earth in studio. Glad to have him on right now. Irf, listen, man, you caught a bit of cast there, and it's been interesting around here the last 5 days, talking about the fallout of the decision by the NHL and what should have happened. Will there be repercussion? Does there need to be? How's it going in Vancouver? Because you had a great tweet earlier in the day, and I think it was like both Vancouver and Edmonton getting ready for tonight's game, and like what was it?
Getting ready to type, and Muhammad Ali,
yes,
snapping his gloves on his fingers to make sure his fingers are protected.
Very well.
Well, before we start, Tommy, I don't know if you can see this. I have a super big press release to get to.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's really important. So
okay,
I'm gonna make sure that we get to that.
Are we doing it here?
Yeah. It's a really big press release. Open it here. It was a suspension and it was a penalty. People need to get over themselves in both markets. Absolutely, both markets they do. Whether it's the Vancouver Canuck fans that are just taking it left, right, and center from the Edmonton Oilers fans, and the Edmonton Oilers fans thinking that the suspension was too much. You cross-check a guy in the face, you're going to get 3 games. Tyler Myers probably could have gotten another one just for whatever, but the referees didn't call the penalty, so there was no need to cross-check someone in the face. I don't know. That's just my thing, but there was 20 seconds left in the game. Connor Garland's trying to do his job and kind of see out a win.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Garland is 5'10".
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't weigh that much.
That's very generous of you.
Connor McDavid is a little bit bigger than Connor Garland.
Yes.
So look, I laugh because I think you know me, and people that do know me know that it's all fun and games, but it was a suspension and it was a penalty, and we need to get over it.
I would have been okay with one game for both guys.
Let them play tonight.
Exactly. But apparently the league wanted to mitigate that. And apparently they had to talk to both teams. Like we've had this conversation here all season long is like, are the Oilers tough? Are they too soft? I think they are a bit soft. I'll stand by that. And I think a lot of people would agree.
The Canucks 100% are soft.
Yeah. Like there's nothing that's going to happen. That. Yeah.
Like, and if anyone wants to go after Connor Garland, I mean, look, he's going to protect himself. Like, these guys aren't just going to lay on the ground and let things happen to them. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I think that there is some people in these parts, some of the crazy stuff that I saw on the internet and things, people saying that this has the feel of Moore Bertuzzi. And I'm like, you need to just relax. People need to just put their head on straight and just not think about the dumb stuff like that. Look, there's a hockey game that needs to be played. I agree with your producer there. I cannot wait until the puck is dropped just so this kind of storyline gets out of the way. And look, if the Oilers run around and go after Connor Garland, they might be in luck because the Canucks power play is awful and they get chances when they're shorthanded. So there's that.
Irf Gaffar with us as we roll on here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Text us 780-218-9999. Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas with you, getting you ready for tonight's action. Okay, let's actually talk about games that these teams 100%. Have played. Yes, please, and thank you. They've split the season series thus far. Vancouver has had a lot of success against the Edmonton Oilers, but let's take a look at the Canucks' last game. What happened against the Buffalo Sabres on Tuesday night? Because the Oilers, who's to Washington, played really good against them. But, the Caps are one thing. The Sabres are a bit different. We're going to see the Sabres on Saturday here, Irf.
The story of the Vancouver Canucks season. They're just inconsistent. They're consistently inconsistent. That's kind of the way it is. I know we say that term sometimes when you describe hockey teams, but they played a hell of a hockey game on Saturday against the Edmonton Oilers. Yep. JT Miller played a really good game trying to shut down Connor McDavid. Obviously, Leon got his. Quinn Hughes played well for the Canucks, but in the end, that was their game. That was the game to go and get you. And we talk about the gauntlet of this Canucks schedule and the teams that they've had to play recently. They're right back into it, right? You go now against the Edmonton Oilers, but against the Buffalo Sabres, that was a game you had to have. You have a lead, you're up 2-1 on home ice, and a team that's 30th in the league or wherever they are near the bottom of the standings comes back and kicks your teeth in the third period, you end up losing that game. That has an absolute sour taste in your mouth, and it should.
Yeah.
This team is awful defensively. There's absolutely no secret that the Canucks have needed a defenseman 2 years ago to help with to round out at least the top three. And another problem is when the top guys for the Canucks aren't going, unlike the Edmonton Oilers or other top teams in this league, they don't have enough juice in the bottom of their lineup to get them through games. Danton Heinen, haven't really been around. Jake DeBrusk, streaky. This is 7 games now without a goal, so this would be 8 tonight if he doesn't. He went 9 once already this year. And then you have guys like Pia Suter, who were unbelievable to start the season. Where have they gone now? Teddy Bluger, great start to the season. Where have they gone now? If Quinn Hughes isn't Quinn Hughes and doing Quinn Hughes types of things, like, where is this hockey team right now? It's crazy.
Right. Irf, how has Demko been in the games that he's played? I know that knee injury was bizarre and very rare, but how would you sum up the way he's kind of come back here?
I think it's tough for him because I think he's kind of learning how this injury is going to be as it goes. Okay. It's something that he's going to have to play with for the rest of his career, whether it hurts or it doesn't. There's no magical surgical procedure that is going to fix Thatcher Demko and he's going to suddenly become this Vezina goalie again. I think it's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of grinding. And for lack of a better term, like, he's willing to put in that work right now. So he's getting another start, which is probably a good sign. If the Canucks are willing to give him a run of games to try and get him back to that level, that's probably best case scenario for him. So he's playing every other night, but it's going to take some time. Like I said, we can't judge Thatcher Demko after 5 or 6 games when he came back from the injury. It's got to be 10, it's got to be 15, and we're right in that range now.
Pickard versus Demko between the pipes tonight. Oilers versus Canucks last time this regular season. I want to see some of the juices spill over into tonight. Do you think we're actually going to see that tonight, or do you think it's going to be kind of subdued?
I think the league warned both teams.
I know.
Don't do anything stupid. I think the referees are going to know if something gets out of hand silly, they won't be afraid to toss a guy. Mm-hmm. And if they have to toss a star for either running a star or doing something, then they will. And that'll just blow up in both markets again. Look, the Canucks need to play better hockey. That's simple. And the Edmonton Oilers want to keep doing what they've all been doing all season, and that's keep being consistent, being a good hockey team, and try to get to playing your best hockey come March and April so they can go on another run. Like, this isn't two teams that need to go and fight this out. They're not in the bottom of the standings. You know, the Canucks are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. I don't think they're in their business of going and trying to rough and play that kind of game. They're also just not built like that, either team. Like, if you really look at it, like, who from Corey Perry, is he going to get under people's skin? Yeah, but Corey Perry's made a living doing that for his entire career. So you expect that anyway. Is Darnell Nurse going to take a shot at someone? I don't know. Is someone going to run Elias Pettersson? Maybe. He might wake up then. But, you know, and look, I think that, these guys are going to go on the ice. If something happens, they're going to defend themselves, and that should be it. I don't think that this is something that needs to be blown up like crazy. Like, it was a penalty. Like, McDavid didn't get run from behind. He wasn't, viciously attacked. Like the people are making it seem to be. And even here, like, I just laugh. It's just funny to me, man.
It is funny.
You know me. I just laugh.
I know. Irf Gaffar with us. You can catch him on Rink Wide, the Canucks post-game show with Jeff Patterson on Canucks Army, and down to Irf as well. Hey, listen, you're from Vancouver. I'm an Edmonton boy. You're a Vancouver boy. We have been around both of these teams for a surprisingly long amount of time. I remember meeting you, I think, like in 2010.
Yeah, just before that, probably.
Yeah, even before that. And so, like, we've seen a lot in our time covering this league. One of the new things that I saw on Tuesday was nachos being thrown on the ice here in Edmonton. And Corey Perry subsequently skating perfectly through them and slapping a one-timer home past Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson's like, I saw the guy throw them. I didn't know what the hell was going on. There's been tumultuous times that both of us have covered. We've seen jerseys thrown on the ice in both of our cities. We've seen crazy stuff. But, like, the nachos, Irf, what did you think of that?
Seen jerseys, seen undergarments, male and female, thrown on the ice.
Gross.
Seen so much stuff thrown on the ice in both cities. I thought the nachos was fine. I mean, look, no, obviously it's not fine if it hit a player and something happened.
Sure.
Plastic, whatever. There's an injury. That's terrible. I mean, if Corey Perry slips on the cheese and gets hurt, like it's bad. It's funny, but it's bad.
Yes.
But look, it's a waste of $23 or however much they cost there. That's exactly what that is. But like the game wasn't bad. Like
no.
For the Oilers, like they weren't getting smoked in the game for someone to throw nachos on the ice. I saw our good friend Gene Principe had some pretty good puns as he usually does when talking about the nachos. But yeah, like it's an interesting one. I mean, I'm sure the fan was removed pretty quickly from the game, and yeah, I mean, good to get your money's worth.
Oh man. Anyway, I just wanted to see what you thought of that because it was a new one for him. Like, are those nachos on the ice? And Irf, don't worry. If it did hit the player, the tray, Rogers Place is LEED certified. So that is a biodegradable cardboard container. Okay.
Yeah, well, if Corey Perry would have slipped on some cheese and a jalapeno and said goodnight to his ankle, I'm not sure that would have went over so well.
A lot of people are knocking whoever threw those nachos over and saying, where were the jalapenos? What's wrong with you?
You know what I would have done?
What?
Had I been the one to score the goal, I would have went to the nachos, taken a bite. I would have 100%. Remember
the Hamburglar?
Andrew, literally, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, the cheeseburger.
Yes.
Yeah, from Vancouver,
great.
from these parts too. But yeah, no, that was good. But yeah, the nachos, I can agree, is definitely a new one.
Ridiculous. Okay, from ridiculous to kind of feisty and interesting, and for the right reasons, has a lot of people's attention. JT Miller, he's still a Canuck. On Saturday, we're like, oh, he might be getting traded. He might not play. Ended up playing, had a good game. What's the latest? What do people need to know about that?
I think the latest is the Canucks are still trying to work to get something done. I think there are teams that are definitely interested. You know, you hear the usual suspects that have been reported already: the Carolina Hurricanes, the New York Rangers, believe the Islanders, all New York teams, the Islanders, Devils, and the Rangers for sure. Mm-hmm. I think Boston is a dark horse to watch out for.
Wow.
I also think that with the injury to William Karlsson now in Vegas, that one interests me a little bit.
Jeez, come on.
He's going on LTIR.
Right. Oh, now they have money. Now they can
do some stuff, right?
They can do their thing.
But the thing is the Canucks aren't going to give up JT Miller unless it's a trade that works for them. Like, this isn't a player where you're at the bottom of the standings and you're just going to get rid of this player for the sake of getting rid of him because your team's so bad you want to collect some sort of assets. Like, JT Miller can still produce in the National Hockey League. The Canucks believe that they're still a playoff team, even though they're under the playoff bar right now. They're right there.
Yep.
So the offer or the return would have to be something that the Canucks would like. There are teams that are interested. There are teams that are going to continue to be interested. I don't know if it was as close as everyone thought it was on Saturday night before the game against the Edmonton Oilers. I do, however, think that they're going to take their time here because they want to get it right.
What do they want? Because everybody's talking about right shot D-men here. You were all over the Klingberg thing last week, and the Oilers are picking up guys like Alec Regula off of waivers that's played 22 games. They have turned Ty Emberson into an everyday defenseman. They went and gave Josh Brown 3 years, $3 million for some reason. Yeah, I know, it is still funny. And then now they've got John Klingberg. But what do the Canucks need to bolster their team? What are some of the deficiencies?
Oh, how much time do we have in this show?
Minutes.
No, I'm kidding. Look, defenseman, top 4 if you can, but those are hard, right? Scoring winger, because we haven't even talked about this guy, Brock Besser.
Yeah.
They haven't made a decision on Brock Besser according to the general manager. Well, they've had 7 months to offer him a contract, and now the trade deadline is March 7th, so under 2 months away. And he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. Are you going to lose Brock Besser for nothing? Or are you going to offer him an 8-year extension at nearly $8 million a year? Is probably what he wants. I think AFP projections have him at 8.6 or 8.86, a little high for my liking, but I just don't see how that happens. So there's another player that you have to add into the mix. I think the Canucks, what they need and what the reality is of what they could possibly get are two completely different things. And if it's a point where you just have to get rid of a player, you're going to take what you can get at some point.
All right. Lots of goals tonight and tight one, or is it going to be a blowout?
I think it's going to be close. I think when these two teams play each other, I think I think you'll see something like Saturday, unless it gets out of hand and silly and dumb stuff happens.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I could be wrong. But I know the Canucks are pissed after the way that they ended that game against Buffalo. And I know the Oilers are pissed because, well, everyone's seen it on the internet.
I love it. Irf, that's why you're the best for this. We got a text that came in to our inbox from Troll. Says, I hate the Canucks and their fans, but this guy seems pretty chill. Yeah, he's the most chill. That's why he's my buddy, and that's why we bring him on. Irfaan Gaffar, always a pleasure.
Well, there was a funny tweet. I'll finish with this.
Oh, please do.
There's some guy that had a tweet. He's from Vancouver, and it said, funny thing about Oilers fans is they think that they're making fun of us for hating the Canucks. But what the truth is, no one hates the Canucks more than Canucks fans.
That's like Oilers fans.
It's like Oilers fans. So, I mean, like in two markets where you kind of know where things can kind of get silly, it's two fan bases completely on the edge of their seats and for different reasons. The Canucks have had zero success in their franchise. If you really look at it, there's been nothing. Right? You go to Game 7 Stanley Cup Final, you don't win. The Edmonton Oilers, they have like Stanley Cups from years ago. I'm sure Bob Stauffer and everyone else will tell you all about it. Mark Spector and all those guys. They'll tell you about it. But other than that, you get to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final last year with Connor McDavid, you have nothing to show for it. So they're two fan bases that are literally on the edge of their seats. Hopefully, Tommy, we're on the edge of our seats watching this one tonight.
Buddy, I will be on the edge of my seat. And you only pushed me further to the edge with how good you were tonight. Irf, have a great post-game show. So good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
All right, to all my friends in Edmonton, be well.
They will hopefully see you soon. There's Irfaan Gaffar. You can catch him over at Canucks Army. He's absolutely fantastic. He hosts the post-game show alongside the wonderful Jeff Patterson, who you heard from earlier. I think Jeff was on today with the Nielsen show, and he also has his own show, Down to Earth, which is excellent too. All right, Nat, so I know we have a bunch of texts to get to. People are juiced up for this one. I love that the fans of both teams are juiced up, more so than the players, I feel. But what do you think after everything we've heard from Cass and Irf and some of the texts that we've seen?
Yeah, I think everybody just wants this game to be played, man.
Me too.
And sure, if lay the first hit on Garland and the fans will go crazy and then they'll boo him. I love it. It's been kind of a bit of an embarrassing time here in Edmonton, and why stop now, Tom Lowell? Boo Garland. Boo Garland all you want. I think listen, I understand it. You go there, you pay your money. I'm not going to tell fans how to fan. But
well, one thing to do, and I will say, just don't throw your nachos on the ice, please.
No, don't throw anything on the ice.
Please
Especially
don't.
those plain nachos that the gentleman threw there. And
Unbelievable.
Conflicting reports about the gentleman after he threw the nachos, but we won't get to that unless we have confirmation. But yeah, just keep it real. And if there's Vancouver fans there, obviously if they're being idiots is a different story. But just represent Edmonton well, like we usually do, right, Tommy? It's a great hockey market. Fans are passionate. That's why you saw everybody lose their minds on what was it, late Monday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's just have fun tonight, and listen. I love when these two teams plays, and I love that JT Miller's in the game. You know why?
So do I.
He plays excellent against the Oilers. He doesn't let the Draisaitl or McDavid's in or any of them off the hook, and that's what you want, man. And I'm pretty sure those guys don't want it any other way either. Like I think Draisaitl loves that stuff. I think he thrives on it, and the great players always thrive on great competition, Tom.
Okay, really quickly. So the Russian bot site Yegwave did not have confirmation on the nacho guy?
Surprisingly, I don't know, man. I have no idea. I just saw some stuff, and some people sent us texts yesterday that they were at the game and they saw it. So I believe them, but I just don't want to share that kind of info.
I know
on the sports radio. But yeah, don't throw stuff on the ice regardless of the outcome, please.
All right, 780-218-9999, and then get into the nasty chat. Really quickly, lineups again. Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Nugent Hopkins with Janmark and Brown. Henrique with Perry and Hyman. Philp between Skinner and Kapanen. Ekholm, Bouchard paired up on D. Nurse with Stetcher. Kulak with Emerson. Pickard starts in goal for the Canucks tonight. This is what we're getting from them. Elias Pettersson with Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser. JT Miller between Pius Suter and Connor Garland. Teddy Bluger with Danton Heinen and Kiefer Sherwood. Matt Cassian with Nils Hoglander and Phil the Paisan Di Giuseppe on his flank. Quinn Hughes paired up with Luke Friedman and Carson Soucy with Philip Ronick. Derek Forbort with Vinny Desharnais. The other Elias Pettersson, who they drafted recently, is not playing, and I don't think we're going to see Linus Karlsson. I just need to double check Canucks lines, but Nat, so were there any texts that you want to get to, unless you have the Canucks lines that have been confirmed?
Nothing. I can't see anything confirmed on the good old X. That's probably the most reliable place to see them because usually they're tweeted out by media that's watching the skate. The warm-ups. On the question of the night, who needs to step up to help Leon Draisaitl lead this team to victory? A lot came in, a lot for Nuge, a lot for Bouchard.
Yeah.
There is a few for Arvidsson. I mean, I think that's all fair. I truly do. You said Henrique. I said Nuge, and I like that one. I said it in the opening. Gager selected Adam Henrique too. He's been kind of slacking on the offense this year. He's had some good and some bad. He hasn't been overall as good as I think many Oilers fans thought he would be. Now, he was really good in the playoffs last year, so you kind of forgive the kind of slow regular season right now. You know he's going to be a regular in the playoffs. You know he's going to be fine. So you kind of just you're almost accepting of his game right now, which in fairness hasn't been terrible, Tom. I think you almost expected just a little bit more offense, and you're not getting that from him. And it was funny because I know a lot of people are calling Garland a plug, and he's a fourth line guy. He would be fourth on the Oilers in scoring. Yeah,
he's a good player. He's very effective. He's annoying as hell. He is a little pain in the ass. I called him a gremlin on the Reed Wilkins show. I stand by it. And you know what? He's carved out a pretty good career for himself.
Good player, man.
I think Luke Gazdick on Reed's show called him a menace, something along those lines, because they played against each other a lot in the AHL, and he's effective. And I think most teams would like to have a guy like that. And he's smart. He's cerebral, and did what he did to Connor McDavid piss a lot of Oilers fans off 100%. But it was really smart at the end of the day how he handled that situation, and it worked. And he got McDavid suspended, and the Canucks get to play them, but they had their own guy take a really stupid suspension. So it's just there's always something with these two teams, and that's what I kind of appreciate. So hopefully. It's ELE. Everybody love everybody, but don't beat the living crap out of each other in the stands at Rogers Place, because it happens between Canucks and Oilers fans.
Behave. I know it's Thursday. It's almost Friday, and you might have one or two social sparkler. Probably one or two more than you would usually have on a weekday. But behave. Be good Edmonton Oilers fans. Cheer on the boys, and don't be throwing stuff or fighting in the stands. There's no need.
No, hopefully not. I don't like the chances of it not happening, but hopefully, let's be positive. Put it out to the universe and manifest. Okay, a couple of texts to wrap up. Cal in the park. What's up, Cal? Says, am I the only one who can't wait for this game to end so people can stop talking BS about nothing? Hopefully, Vancouver versus Edmonton in playoffs. And Irf comes out to pregame with the Nasties. He is great. Cal, he is awesome. You would love him in person. He was here for the playoffs a couple of years ago. He was here for the bubble. I can't remember.
He joined you 1 year on location. I think it was last year, Tom. Yeah, because I remember watching, and you guys were at somewhere on location, and he joined you for the pregame show.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, we've known each other forever, same age, and I've covered both the Oilers and the Canucks the same amount of years, respectively. So, yeah, Irf started, I think, 2008. Just the same as me around the Canucks, and when I started around the Oilers, and he's a beauty. So I'm glad we got him on today.
And Patterson's a beauty too, man.
Well, Jeff's like a classic, great broadcaster. That's a good duo.
We had him on a few weeks ago, and then I know Dusty had him on, and I sometimes tune into their post-game show, and they do a great job as well. I always watch, I don't know, maybe because I work on a post-game show, I like watching the Canadian markets post-game show stuff. So I'm a fan too. They do great work.
I love it. Okay, let's wrap up with Rowdy Roddy getting in here. I haven't heard from Rowdy Roddy in a little bit. Says, hey, boys, Tom and Hernan, I think we need to send a message. Pound their team in scoring and dominate physical play. Please ask Irf if he's too much of a Vancouver homebody. Yeah, he needs to relax. Sorry, Rowdy Roddy. No, Irf can separate. He can really separate. He's good. He's excellent at that. All right, Anthony on Long Island, you get the last say tonight. Calling it, he says, number 29 gets a Hattie tonight. Enjoy the game tonight, boys. Anthony on Long Island. Thank you, buddy. Oh, Dustin with the Y. I see you. I appreciate that very, very much. Nanso, any final thoughts? Or are you ready to rock?
The words of D-Rock on the Nasty Chat. At the end of the day, it's just a game. So let's go. Let's get the 2 points.
Baby.
And we'll see how the Oilers respond without McDavid. Second game. So I'm excited for this one, Tom. Let's go.
Too.
Don't fight at the arena. Don't throw stuff on the ice. And Tommy and I will be back for the post.
I can't wait. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Very fun show. Thank you to Irfaan Gaffar from Canucks Army for stopping by. Great rundown of Vancouver's situation. And then to everybody who watched and listened, you know we love you. You know we appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. For Matt Cassian and Hernan the Latino Heat Salas, I am Tom Crusola saying enjoy the Oilers versus the Canucks last time this regular season. We'll catch you on the postgame show. Ciao for now.